Good evening, good evening, good evening. And we are live. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome to tonight's show, The Rival Show. Usually, the Rival Show usually should take place around Thursday of every given week. But now, after the international break, it just tweaked everything and changed the whole calendar right now. And of course, games are coming in thick and fast. So we just have
Yeah.
to make use of the time we have to just go across these games as they come. Um, Today, of course, my usual partner in crime here for the rival show is Ola of the United Family. Ola of the United Family, you're welcome to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be on the show. Let's just it has been a very bad week for Manchester United, but what can we do? We just have to move on from it and hopefully
Yeah, yeah.
we get a win in the next game.
Good. And ladies and gentlemen, I need not to, introduce this person to you. Uh, he peddles in being an esteemed guest. Uh, you know, see, Manny was here the other time. He was here for a particular show during our, I think, was it our post game show? Uh, uh, Either our post game show or so, I don't know, but he's been here before he made his debut last weekend. And of course, I need not to tell you what he brings to any show he lays his hands on. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to welcome my special guest again and someone who I want to be a regular, on my channel, Manny Thangadurai. You're welcome to the show, big brother.
Thank you very much indeed, brother. Good to be back. And, it's enjoyable. And what you see with me is what you get. You're not going to get someone who will be over the top in my praise for a team. You won't see someone who will be over the top in criticizing anyone unless it's well deserved. And
True.
I know there have been times on other shows when sometimes maybe my criticism might have been a little bit harsh, but the best part about coming on shows like this is that we can always look to find some common ground. And
True.
being on shows like this will help me become a better podcaster in many ways, be a better guest for different shows. So thank you very much indeed for welcoming me on. And I'm really glad to be here. And big up as well to Ola. Good to see you as well.
We got Buff.
Yeah, talking about criticisms, I was in a show, in an after show, yesterday in the Hotspur hood, and of course, Manny's an Arsenal fan, and of course, he really really loves shows that have to do with football. And I saw you in the comment section, and then I said something about Aubameyang, and his role in that dressing room. And then I saw you counter me a bit, give me a little bit of criticism. They're like, hey, Anthony, of course, we might not see eye to eye, but I still don't agree with you when it comes to Aubameyang. Well, we all agree to disagree, but
Yeah,
I really
true.
do think that Aubameyang did have, one or two dressing room mishaps down there. If not, why would he want to leave? Why would he leave the club? So something is wrong there. And it- listen, when we're dealing with youth. When you're in a project and you're dealing with an 11-man team that it's predominantly youth, you just don't need any uh, you don't need any character or characters that employ ego into any of their character portrayal that they portray in the team. We just need a stable head. We need stable leadership. And right now, I do really believe that Zichenko and Gabriel Jesus gives Arsenal that leadership quality that we've always missed. And of course, you can see how they're playing with harmony right now. I'll give you a chance to go to say something about that, but just right after I come with Ola right now. You saw
Okay.
what happened. You guys were completely obliterated yesterday. Ola, what
Yeah.
happened? Take us through a tour of what happened.
I think
yesterday
it was
in the
just
Premiership.
uh
Manchester
it
City
was
6,
yeah,
Manchester United
United.
3.
Yeah, it was just a flurry of mistake from the players. I think a lot of people want to blame the manager, but I think the players they were not up for it. From the first minute of that game, in the second minute, Dallo got the yellow card, and Grealish absolutely killed him. Malacia also got another yellow card for a misplaced a short pass from Rashford. And once you have your two fullbacks already on yellow cards, then you already know you are in for a very big game. And I felt that was where Man City they took advantage of that and they were attacking. And I feel our midfield was non-existent in that game, and it showed because I feel like if someone of Casemiro's quality has started, it might have been different. But I don't really think that's really the problem because City took the game to us. They played really well. They were on top of their game. They got they got the 4 goals in the first half, which was a disgrace. What I thought was after that first goal, we could have defended better, tried to see the game out for that first half. Even it might be 1-1, it might be 2-1 in the first half, but the 4-0, we couldn't come back from that in the second half. The second half started, we started playing better. We got the first goal and we scored one and they scored two to show you the level that this City players are on. And we all know City is a way better team than United now. We are just building our team to get to the level of teams like City. And it's a very long process. It will take time. We have to have faith in our coach. Arsenal did that with Arteta. They gave him 3 years, even though some Arsenal fans don't still like Arteta or they still have their reservation about him. But they gave him the time, and now we are seeing better results, better performances from the players. That's why I feel we as fans, we have to be patient. I saw on Sky Sport that some of the fans were leaving the game in the first half.
Yeah. Yeah.
When this coach came in, we all were saying we believe in him, we want to give him the time, trust in the process. But you are
Yeah.
losing the game and you guys are walking away. We as fans, we need to back this manager, back the club, and hopefully it gets better because we went on a run of 4 games and no fan was leaving the stadium at that point. But we are losing the game and the fans are already turning on. I won't say the manager, it might be the players, and they have the
Yeah.
right to turn on the players because the players they let us down in that game. They should have showed a fight, showed something. This is a Manchester derby. It's not just an ordinary football match. We need that bragging right, and it was shambolic. But in the second half, it got better. We got the 3 goals. They played better in the second half, but at that point, it was too late. And I felt City also they took their foot off the gas because they were already leading 4-0.
Yeah.
What else were they looking for? So it was easy for us to take our time, string a couple of passes together, and we got the 3 goals, which was second half was a better display than the first. But I think it's just normal. I feel bad that we lost, but I don't feel too bad that I'm criticizing everybody and anybody because I already know it's going to be a long process. They're not coming in. It's not going to be a miracle. It takes time. You have to build on these players. These players they were there last season. They had one of the worst season last season in the United shirt, and it's giving
Yeah.
them, it's putting faith in some of them, and he has brought in some new players and trying to build a team. So I just hope we can give him the time he needs because Tenak is a very good manager, and we are seeing the progress little by little. So I think with time it will come, but this game was a very bad one, very bad display from the players. But we just have to move on from it and we'll take the next game, and hopefully we get a win in the next game.
Okay, Manny, you that was exhaustive. What he just said right now. I will give you a chance to counter what I said at the beginning of the program right now, and also I want you to give me your own take about that lackluster performance. Actually, a shambolic. With the words of Ola, that shambolic performance. Manchester United went out there to the Emirates to go display. So, can you take us through a tour of that?
For me, it was a case of the manager getting his tactics wrong, getting his selections wrong, and the selections on the day simply not being able to prove themselves up to the task. One of the things which I've just realised is that when you take a look at the United game against Brentford, he played the 4-2-3-1 formation against Brentford's 4-3-3.
Yeah,
Now, the Brentford team that day had Josh Da Silva, Brian Mbuemo, and Ivan Toney as their front three. They also had a pretty explosive midfield. I don't even think Mikhail Damsgaard came on in that game. And if we're England fans, I mean, I don't know if you support England necessarily, but we all remember Damsgaard's goal against us in the Euros. So he would
Yeah.
have come in as a big signing, and he would also have played a bigger role in that defeat. But thankfully, in some ways, he didn't. But that was the game which prompted Ten Hag to make a lot of changes, including taking off Harry Maguire and Luke Shaw, dropping them both, and then stamping his mark by making Martinez and Varane his first choice centre back pairing, and having Dalot and Malacia as his first choice wing backs.
Yeah.
And I see someone's playing my voice on playback. I don't like the sound of my voice when it's recorded, but whatever. And it's ironic. It's ironic in a way that those selections ended up, being cruelly exposed by the front line as well. But City also were playing a 4-3-3, and when you have a 4-3-3 with such an explosive midfield of De Bruyne, Gundogan, and Grealish, and then Haaland, Foden, and whoever else was there, I don't quite remember. I'll have to check it out.
Bernardo Silva.
Huh? What? Who?
Bernardo Silva played in the game, yeah.
Yeah, Bernardo Silva
Bernardo
played in the game.
Silva.
Yeah. So it was Bernardo Silva, Gundogan, and Kevin De Bruyne in the midfield. Grealish was obviously up front with Haaland and Foden. So look, that was. You can't play against a 4-3-3 with a 4-2-3-1 because it's like going to the OK Corral with a water pistol. I'm sorry to say that, but that's the truth. And you could see how that team was able to dismantle United's entire formation and completely run at United. There were so many gaps in the field, and I'm sure you'll agree with me, Ola. Nobody was willing to try and close them down, and the man marking for some of the goals was completely non-existent.
Was shocking.
Yeah, it's as if the players that never really had a clue. At least with a more proactive team selection, which would have countered some, at least made attempt to counter some of that. He could have packed the midfield with another midfielder, brought on Casemiro along with Eriksen and McTominay if he wanted to keep McTominay there. Maybe had a front three of Rashford, Sancho, and Antony, and then see how that would have worked. And at least the players maybe would have fancied themselves having a better chance. And of course, United did score 3 times in that second half. The first half really was, it was abysmal. It was dismal. It was a catalogue of errors in many ways. There was no man marking. There was no pressing. The amount of space given was absolutely awful. And it was just as well that Ten Hag was able to make some changes for the second half, bringing on Luke Shaw, he brought on Lindelof 5 minutes before the end of the first half. Then eventually he brought on Casemiro and, of course, Martial and Fred. We might talk about Ronaldo a bit later. At least with those changes, there started to be a little bit of solidity. And we can say that obviously with the game having been lost by them, those 3 goals would be inconsequential. But those 3 goals are also proof that City can be sloppy at times. They can take their foot off the pedal if they feel as though they're a little bit. If there is a game as one, they can be a little bit lackadaisical and sloppy. And if you continue to press them the way the likes of Newcastle did, you can get some results against them. So that should serve us a little bit of hope. But of course, by then the game was already lost, and to concede 6 goals, 2 of them hat-tricks to the same people, it's as if, you don't really know how to play against them, how to counter them. And so Ten Hag is going to have to not just look at his players, but more, in my opinion, look at himself. I hope he ditches that 4-2-3-1 formation. It's been picked apart like a carcass by a group of condors, if you will, and he will have to change that in many ways. City look, they look relentless, but they can be contained. They could even be beaten. People just have to believe, and they have to get their tactics right. But United do have some problems, and I would venture to say that the relationship between Ronaldo and Ten Hag could be one of them, because to not even start him or even give him a run out
at all in the Manchester derby,
it made no sense. And again, I spoke about showing up at the OK Corral with a water pistol. How else would you also describe bringing in Marcus Rashford and Jadon Sancho when they had just come back to fitness, when you had someone like Ronaldo who played 3 games in the international break, who looked at least to be in some semblance of form? You can't rush back your players if they have just recovered from injury. I don't care how good form their form was before they got injured. It was irresponsible, really, on Ten Hag's part, and he has to look at himself. Simple as that.
But see, Ten Hag after that match, he came out and he said that, hey, Manchester United did not play. if you have to win or if you have to be competitive in this league, you have to come out and play. And simply, I did not see Manchester United coming out to play. And see, and this is my criticism of Manchester City. Many teams have this; they put them on this pedestal, yeah, that you can't outplay them. You can have a go at them. You can have a run at them. And they always come out with this negative kind of like tactics when you're playing a Manchester City. And mind you, the teams that have been able to claw out, a point from these guys this season, teams like Newcastle, teams like Aston Villa, they go into the game having no fear whatsoever, you know, going there knowing that, hey, we can get something today. We can, completely go there and show lack of respect to these people. But watching that game yesterday, Manchester United paid Manchester City lots of respect. Lots of respect. You
But
need
Anthony,
lots of respect. And when you're playing against Manchester City, they feed off your fear, and that's it. So you need to come out. You need to play, which is what Ten Hag said yesterday. Ola, do you think
yeah.
that your tactics yesterday, just like what Manny have already said here, he called it out technically. Do you think yesterday Manchester United came out with negative tactics, to stifle the gameplay of Manchester City?
I think this game was just like it was a different game for me because I feel the players they were not up for it from the beginning of that game. So you can blame the tactics all you like, but like Manny said, they were not that the man marking was poor. They were not moving for the ball. Even the time we had chances to counter attack them, they were losing the ball. Sancho was very sloppy losing the ball, and Rashford was not excellent in that first half. And if you are talking about players coming from injury straight to the team, Martial just came from injury and
And he
he has been
scored,
on injury
right? Yeah.
with scored 2 goals. So see, the thing is, if you are on that pitch, you have to show the reason why you are wearing that shirt. But those
Exactly.
players in the first half, they didn't show anything. It
No
was
fight,
bad.
no
So
hunger.
you can have all the tactics in the world, but if your players are not up for it, if they don't put in the performance, then your tactics is useless. So I agree with the part that I felt like it could have changed it at some point. And Anthony, we were talking about Newcastle getting the draw. We were talking about
Yeah, in St.
Aston
James
Villa getting
Park, 3-3.
as Aston Villa getting the draw. The difference with these teams is we don't want to sit back and defend throughout the game. These teams are ready to defend throughout the game and get a chance or two and score. They don't
And
care. They
score.
just need the results. They are not here to come and play you off the park because they
Yeah.
know if they do that, they will end up being turned over. They might end up conceding 7 or 8 goals. So they will make sure they defend very well and get a very good counter attack. Once they get a goal or get 2 goals, look at the Aston Villa game. Man City were leading for a huge part of the game. And Aston Villa scored the 1 goal and they defended, and that was the end of the game. So games like that is a different level to games like playing Manchester United. Look at the game against Arsenal, the games against Liverpool. United, they were up for it. The players were winning all the second balls. They were
Yeah.
the counter attacks were good. But against City, it went. I don't know where it went wrong, but I think the players they were not up for it at all. I don't know what the problem was, but that's why I don't want to blame the manager because I'm like, and in the second half, we saw what changed in the second half. And the
Yeah.
Ronaldo topic, I think it's just agenda for people that want to support Ronaldo. I like Ronaldo, he's a legend of Manchester United, but I don't think Ronaldo starting that game would have made any change. If Ronaldo had started that game, we might have ended up even taking like 7 or 8 goals because at the end of the day, he might not be able to even do anything in the game because he needs
That's a
service.
very, very legitimate
He
point. I
needs
also want to
service.
hear
He needs
what Manny
service.
thinks about that after
Any
you.
service, but there was no service in that game. We didn't really create anything, or the midfield was non-existent. So we didn't create anything for the attackers to feed on. So if Ronaldo was in that game, he won't have anything to feed on also. So he might
Yeah.
have Ronaldo in the game, but it sounds useless. And for you down, bringing on Ronaldo, like Ten Hag said in his post-match press conference, it would be a disgrace because we were already leading for you. Bringing Ronaldo on at that point
I
makes
didn't
no
understand. I
sense.
didn't
And
understand that statement anyway.
see,
What
see,
what
see,
will be a
see,
disgrace? What
Ten
will?
Hag,
It's a
No, see,
player. He's been paid to
no,
play for
true,
Manchester
true,
United.
true,
What's the
true,
disgrace down
true,
there?
true,
Come
true,
in and help your
true.
team.
No, true, is a player, but Tella saw the game and he knows we can't get a lot of chances in that game because City are dominating the play. So bringing in Ronaldo is as if you're just hanging him out to dry because he won't really get enough chances. The reason the likes of Martial could come in and get those goals, Anthony's goal was just made by him. He took the shot from outside, a very good goal. Went in. Martial's goal was a rebound. The first goal was a rebound, and the second goal was a penalty. It's not as if we created any chance in the second half also. We just took the little chance, like we created those chances like it was just individual brilliance. If I could say it that way. So I feel there was no chances created in that game. So having a striker like Ronaldo in that game wouldn't have changed anything. And defenders are not really afraid of Ronaldo the way they were before. Age is catching up with him. He can't really run. He can't really like put in tackles the way it's no offense to Ronaldo. He's a fantastic player. If Ronaldo was in the City side, he will score because they will create a lot of chances for him. But we don't create those amount of chances that Ronaldo need. So I understand Ronaldo needs to start. He's the legend of the club. He's a very good player. But for this City game, I don't think if Ronaldo had started, it would have changed anything in that game. And we lost. We just have to move on from it and try to build this team and get better performances.
Manny, do you agree with Ola there? Of course, it totally makes sense. I understand him. But see, yeah, Manny and Ola, you cannot just be battered almost 6 goals to nil, and you have a serial Champions League winner and ammunition sitting right there on your bench. You cannot be going down almost 6-2 or 6-3 when you have a serial winner in Casemiro. All of them, all this armory sitting on the bench right there. You have them. Manny, do you agree with what is going on with with Manchester United in terms of how they've treated? I feel I felt yesterday that they've treated Ronaldo, in a very disgraceful manner. In the summer, you didn't want him to go, and in the big games, of which Ronaldo is personality, he thrives in being the man in the big games. That's why you should have Ronaldo. So I don't see any reason why you did not let him go during the summer, and in the big games in the season that you're meant to actually put him there to create something different, and you're not putting him down there. Why? Like, I need to know why this is all happening. Manny, tell me. I want to hear.
Anthony, wait, Manny, wait, before you go, I want to say something. Let's remember Ronaldo played in the 4-0 loss to Brentford, and he didn't score any goal. He didn't show anything. So you have to create chances. That's just my point. You can go ahead, Manny.
Yeah, like listen, let me come back to your point by agreeing with you by saying that even if he had changed his tactics and changed his selection, there's no guarantee that it would have made that much of a difference. But at the very least, you wouldn't really have seen the team losing as badly as it did, because as I said, to even consider bringing back someone like Rashford and Sancho when they'd just gotten back to fitness, and for a game like this, when you have them that much talent on the bench, sometimes you've got to sort of be brave and say, you know what, it's a horses for courses, issue, and sometimes you've got to pick your men for the big occasion. And let's not forget, the Brentford game was a long time ago, and he also, if I'm correct, was in the Manchester United team under Solskjaer, which was blanked 5-0 by Liverpool, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Was he in
no,
the team
like it. No. Yes, it seems yes, he was in the Liverpool team. Yeah. No, it was in the Brent. It was in the Vikings team that lost 4-0. Before the
that was only the season. I was just wondering about the 5-0 against Liverpool.
The 5-0 against Liverpool. I'm not sure. He didn't play that game.
He might perhaps have been brought
off
the bench, or maybe, but
he didn't play. He played the next game against Tottenham, but he didn't play that game. Yeah, he didn't.
Right.
Yeah.
So there you see, like, I'm not about to suggest that, he would be the answer to all of your problems. But let's not forget that prior to this derby, he played in 3 internationals for Poland over the course of, the entire fortnight.
Portugal, yeah.
And I think in one of the games he was bashed in the head, and I think he had a broken
an issue with his nose, yes.
Yeah, they showed a nosebleed, but he
Yeah.
still looked fit, and if he was still playing well in those games and fit enough to be on the bench, and you had someone like Rashford who was just coming back in, then
Yeah.
I don't understand how you could not pick Ronaldo in. And I will say right now, I will say that you are right in saying that it wouldn't have made much of a difference. But at least with someone like Ronaldo in the team, there is still a little bit of the fear factor. I know that it's a little bit like the case of an aging Michael Jordan coming up against someone like LeBron James or an Allen Iverson, and the youngster ending up, putting the old guy back in his place. But at least the old guy would have had his moments. At least the old guy would have done something to, inspire the team. And I know Rashford had that terrific game against my lot, Arsenal. But, that consistency has got to be maintained. And many United fans are saying, look, until Rashford, McTominay and Sancho can be consistent, they shouldn't be given that much praise. So, again, it wouldn't have made a difference. But I wouldn't necessarily say that Ronaldo has been very badly treated. But here's the thing. It was clear that he wanted to leave. It was clear that he didn't see much of a future. So when you have a situation when any player, no matter how good he is, comes out and says, you know what, maybe it's better if I leave this place because I've done my time over here. I really don't see much of a future for myself. Any manager worth his salt will say, well, you know what, son? You've been great for our club, but if you don't want to be here, we won't stand in your way. If anything, we will be happy to help you find a new club where you can thrive and be happy. But with everything happening, if you make it crystal clear that you want a player to stay, especially a player of Ronaldo's, reputation, I'm not saying that you should necessarily fall over backwards, but to deprive him of minutes.
He's a club legend. He's a club legend. This is not.
You might be a club legend
player.
and not. Okay, see, I gave an example of Aubameyang to Anthony while we're talking on the phone today. Aubameyang is a very good player. He scored a lot of goals for us now, but with the fact that you're a legend doesn't mean they should give you leeway to.
No, I'm sorry. Aubameyang isn't a legend for Arsenal.
He might not be a legend for Arsenal, fine, but he scored he won the Golden Boot like twice with Arsenal. He had an injury part on that Arsenal team. The issue with Ronaldo now is this game against City. Ten Hag, he knows he can't really come out to play against City, so he was hoping to hit them on the break, which he did against Arsenal and Liverpool. So he needed someone very fast in the 9th position. That was why he started Rashford. And in the second half, it has already gone bad. And you needed someone like Martial who had the skills to dribble past players, and that was why Martial was able to get the 2 goals. With Ronaldo, he has lost that dribbling and the pace. So you see, I just feel we as fans want to see Ronaldo play. And we've seen him play in a couple of games this season. He played against
Wait. As Ronaldo lost his dribbling skills and pace, Manny, do you accept this?
He has. See, he has. See, I will tell you, even in the international game, the match against Spain, he tried to do it, but
are you really making big statements here?
He's no longer on that level he used to be, and as a player, he will always back himself to perform. But as a coach, you need to do what's best for your team. Okay, look at the goal Rashford scored against Arsenal. Ronaldo would not have that pace to get that type of goal. That's what I'm trying to say. He's a good player, fine. He played against FC Sheriff in the Europa League, and he scored a penalty, but he was shocking in that game. He couldn't even string passes together. We are seeing these things, but at the same time, a part of us want to see him play because he's a very good player. He's a legend of the club. We understand that, but I feel the manager is trying to manage him well, and one, make sure he doesn't get too criticized, because if Ronaldo plays and he doesn't score, he will get a lot of backlash also. The same people that are saying he should start will be able to give him that backlash. I know he will play at some point, but we don't need to overplay him and make sure he's not at that level again. We need to realize that. So as fans, that's why I'm calm. If Ronaldo doesn't, I felt he wanted to leave, fine, and I felt Ten Hag would have wanted him to go at some point, but the hierarchy and all, they were trying to hold him for different other purposes also, and they kept him in the club. So and another thing was that he didn't really have a lot of suitors that are ready to pay for him to come. They were looking to get him on a fee and pay his wages, and United were not ready to leave him on the fee because we got him for a particular amount. All these things, football is a business. At the end of the day, we we as footballers want to enjoy the football on the pitch, but it's the business behind the scene. They need to make their money. They brought Ronaldo in. They paid for him from Juventus, so they cannot let him go on the free. In January, he might go. At the end of the season, he might go. But Ronaldo is a good player, but I think we can't overplay him now because he's not at that level again.
Okay. Manny,
I completely agree, but let me come into this. There's a reason why I compared this to an aging Michael Jordan playing against some younger players like Iverson and whoever it may be. And if you were to read this book called When Nothing Else Matters, it details his disastrous 2-season return as a player for the Washington Wizards, when clearly, despite still being able to have some decent games, still having a few good moments, his best days were long gone. And I could talk about that in detail. Ronaldo does remind me of that. Now, and of course, it boils down to what you were saying. There are a lot of people who will, credit him greatly for looking after himself very well, being exceptionally physically fit. Zlatan Ibrahimovic is also the same person, and yet he's had an injury as well. He's been out of the AC Milan side. I think he might also be close to retirement, given that he might not get to play in a World Cup for Sweden. So he might not be playing for Sweden anymore. So we'll see. And I completely agree with you when you say that at his age, he has to be managed. But again, I'm not saying that he should necessarily play any game. And I do take your point that when he played against Sheriff in the Europa League, despite scoring that penalty, he was more or less innocuous. I still think that one of the reasons why Lionel Messi is enjoying an Indian summer with both the Argentinian team and also doing a lot better with PSG is that the coaches have had the sense to sort of make their system sort of revolve around Messi in a way, and Messi being a different sort of player to Ronaldo can contribute to that system. Now, I agree. Ronaldo has always thrived on pace and being in the right position at the right time. I think he might have lost a little bit of pace, but then somehow you can still, if you have some ingenuity or imagination, try and find a way to implement him in. And at least, in that game, if Rashford was tiring, bringing on Marshall was a masterstroke. I think it worked out quite well. But I believe also that there would have been a place for Ronaldo. Maybe Ten Hag decided to be ruthless and say, you know what, I need some fresher legs, faster legs. Marshall's my guy, and it proved to be the case. But still, Ronaldo does need to have some games. And the idea of bringing him on and not seeing him perform, he's been playing football for the best part of 20 years. He's had worse things said about him by even bigger critics in the game. So more criticism wouldn't have made any difference for him. He brushes it off, it's water off his back. He moves on. So I think, look, moving forward, Ten Hag has to realize that if he wanted Ronaldo to stay, and if he wanted to make sure Ronaldo was a part of his plans, he has to find a way to make sure that he can integrate him successfully and make him feel important. Otherwise, what's the point? I take the example of Raul Gonzalez. Near the end of his Real Madrid career, he was still scoring goals, but Pellegrini was really only was phasing him out of the first team picture. He was coming in, and Ronaldo was in the team at the time. He was wearing the number 9 while Raul had the number 7. So at the end of that season, he didn't make the Spain squad, which went on to win the World Cup. And he also was finding himself phased out of the Real Madrid team. So he had the sense to decide to jump before he was pushed. He went on to Schalke and had a terrific Indian summer over there, proving how magnificent a striker he still was. So sometimes it might have been best for, it would have been best, in my opinion, if Ronaldo had left, because at least that way you could build a team around the other players in your squad and move forward with a clean slate. So I think Ten Hag has pretty much created a rod for his own back by asking Ronaldo to stay, because there comes a time when you start to realize, even players themselves start to realize that, the spirit may be willing, but the flesh is just a little bit weak, as is said in the scripture. So, if Jordan didn't have the sense to realize that, hopefully Cristiano will realize that, he can't go on forever.
But I think with Manny, this is with that Manny, Anthony, if I could just round this topic up, I just think Ten Hag, it might have wanted Ronaldo to leave, but in the media, he can't actually say that Ronaldo should leave. He can only back him to stay, because at some point he was causing issues for us in the transfer window. It was all about Ronaldo this, Ronaldo that. And I know Ten Hag, because he wants to build a young and a fresh team, just like what Arteta did. He had to face out Lacazette and Aubameyang to build this young team of young players that are ready and willing to play. And and won't have any issue like media issues and all. So I think Ten Hag at some points would have wanted Ronaldo to leave, but the options were not there. And comparing Ronaldo to Messi, I think Messi is more of a versatile player to Ronaldo. Like if you look at the PSG team now, Messi drops to the midfield. He tries to create more than score. He doesn't really score again, but he tries to assist and create. But Ronaldo, he tries on the pace, the dribbling, and the positional play, which he doesn't. He still has that, but he doesn't really have it. And I feel if that game was like 4-2 or 4-3, he might have brought Ronaldo on and tried to attack. But we were losing 6-1 at the point he brought on Martial. So bringing Ronaldo on, you can't really. How many chances? We are not creating a lot of chances, so he just had to just come with Martial that can bring a little bit more, and that was why Martial got those 2 goals. So it was just. I believe we'll see Ronaldo play more at some point, but we shouldn't expect him playing week in, week out and playing a lot of games because it will also be bad for him as a player. So that's just.
Okay, now listen, see, yeah, Ola, it's not yet the end because I really want to know if your top 4 chances changes at this point. Manny, you have a big role to play here because I've never heard you. Now, Manny, you've been able to escape this question in many streams. And right here and right now, ladies and gentlemen, I will be putting Manny to the test because I cannot be going out there to my big friend Northside LDN, and other places, and declare
Big up
my top 4.
Northside.
Big up Northside is a very big brother at Northside, instrumental to my development here too. Shout out to you, Northside LDN. We love you here. I cannot be going to all these places and be giving my top 4 predictions. And Manny, you cannot just just drift slowly and just have this good parliamentary talk and escape your way through it. You are going to give us your top 4. You are going to give us your top 4 chances here and your top 4 teams here live only on Tony Cloud Gunner TV. But before we go into that, Ola, please, I'll ask you this question and then it extends to Manny. Ola, right now, with that shambolic performance you guys had yesterday, mind you, we're talking about the big 6 here.
Yeah.
Has anything altered in your top 4 chances? Where do you see Manchester United actually positioning at the end of the season? In fact, I'll start with Manny because Ola spoke the last time. So, Manny, you go with this
go
one,
on.
and then I ask Ola.
Yeah, well, I always keep saying that there's many a slip between the cup and the lip, but I'm sorry, I won't beat around the bush. I will come to it. And,
Yeah.
we still are only 8 games into the season. I would say that based on current form, City do look as though they are relentless. And I remember predicting that Liverpool would win, but in lieu of their defensive problems, and I think we might discuss that later on, they've got a lot to sort out, and they're going to have to make some tough decisions, whether it means, giving Trent Alexander-Arnold and Virgil van Dijk a rest. I think they're going to have to look to doing that. It's clear that Henderson and Milner are on their last legs. With my top 4, I think Manchester City definitely look in a really good position to be in the running, and they could end up winning the whole thing by the end. And I'm saying they could. In fact, I now think that they will end up winning because I don't see any real inherent weaknesses. Even when they've had slight slip-ups against Newcastle and Aston Villa, they've recovered well to post some very convincing wins. So they move on. They find some chinks in their armor, they remove it, and they keep on going, and that's the efficient way it is. So I think that they will end up winning. And second and third and fourth is going to be interesting because it will depend on which of the big 6 teams will be able to solve their problems in time, and also whether or not those people have the squad depth, and also what those people will do in January to strengthen. And one of the things which I still cannot abide, Anthony, is that our transfer activity at certain points has not been the best, and it has cost us. Penny wise, pound foolish. We refuse to spend a little bit of money, and it costs us a lot more than that. So here are my predictions. I still think that given the quality of players in their squad, and when they come back to full fitness, Liverpool still do look a complete team. And it will be a matter of time before that new front three, without Sadio Mane, will start to click and start to score. They can still score goals, and they can still do a decent job in midfield. And they showed by coming back from 2-0 down against Brighton that they have that capability to be relentless and really continue to fight. Is that their defensive worries cost them a win in that game. And I think Van Dijk has to look at himself very badly, as does Trent. And I think Klopp will have to consider, rejigging his back line to see what will work. But I still believe that Liverpool will finish definitely in the top four. I still have them finishing second. And as the third, it should still be Chelsea, because Graham Potter has just joined. He will certainly want to try and stamp his mark on the team and leave his mark the way he's left at Brighton, who have now started life under a new manager with, a real honeymoon, if you will. And based on their game against Crystal Palace, I think he has, assembled a team which can, blunt Crystal Palace well. Crystal Palace are now starting to be found out in many ways. So if he can build on that and start slowly building results, that can be good. And with the firepower they have, I think that they can finish third. But here is where I'm going to come in and now say, for the first time on your show and no one else's, I think Arsenal have a really good chance of finishing in the top four, and I predict that they will finish fourth, because they are looking in decent form. And if they are able to continue in this vein of form, then Arteta will have to sit down and say, look, I need to buy more players. I want to make sure this team finishes in that top four, gets Champions League football. If we can even do better and win the Europa League, or even finish higher in the table, glory, glory, hallelujah. Our club will have been saved from way on down, if you will. And so Arteta's going to have to flex his muscles, because if the club have trusted him enough to give him a 3-year contract, he now has to really speak to Edu and the board and make sure that he really gets it in. So it's looking good for Arsenal. And at the beginning of the season, I had Tottenham pipping Arsenal again to the top four position. But based on that North London derby, which we'll talk about, I'm sure, in depth, I have really been disappointed. I was really disappointed with them. And unless Conte improves and evolves tactically and as a manager, which I don't think he will, I don't think they will, I think we will get revenge on them. I have them finishing... I probably would have them finishing. It's hard to say. It's going to be a tough race between United and Tottenham for the 5th and 6th positions. I might even have. In fact, I'm going to stick my neck out and say that United will end up finishing in 5th, and this could be with Tottenham in 6th, and this could be subject to change. I don't want to insult you in any way, because I still think that you can recover. You still have to play Chelsea twice. You've still got to play Tottenham twice. You've got to play a host of other teams, and hopefully you will improve your performances against them and not let them be banana skins for you. So all of those could change. But Arsenal do look good, and I think we can certainly predict that they could just make it. But then again, as I've said, everything could change. At the beginning, I was thinking that Liverpool would win. Now I've had to change that dramatically.
Good. Ola, I'll give you your own shot at this right now. Can you go?
Yeah,
top four chances. Manchester United. That was the question.
I think I will lean more towards going for the Europa League, and possibly if we can win that and get to top four through that, because I think the league, like Manny said, we still have a lot of games to play, and we should not forget.
Ola, you've evaded that question. You've evaded that question.
No.
Ola, what would be the positioning of Manchester United this season?
I think I'll go with more of what Manny said. I'll go with 5th or 6th, because I don't see us getting top four this season. And it's not that I back my team, but I don't like it is a marathon, not a sprint. We have to take it one step at a time. We are building this team, and it should take time. It should take time to build the team. And that's why some Manchester United fans are really sad about this City loss. I'm sad about the loss, but because I know it's a marathon, we are just building a team. It's a long process. It might take 2-3 years for us to get to a level that we want, so we have to be patient. So I'll go for 5th, and hopefully if we can go through the Europa League and win the Europa League, then we'll have an opportunity to be in the Champions League. So I just think it's both ways, but I would lean towards going for the Europa League more, because the league is going to be very challenging. A lot of teams, the Newcastles, the Crystal Palace, these teams are very good teams that will pose a lot of threats to United at this point, and I think we just have to take the game one step at a time. And hopefully we can get top 4 or win the Europa League any which way. But I'll go with more of fifth.
Yeah, I was about to
Okay.
ask you, if you do win the Europa League, I mean, will you consider that a success? Maybe.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, that's a
If
big
we win
one.
the Europa League, it's going to be like it's going to be a very good thing for Ten Hag. And also, if we see our performances improve, I think it's both ways. We had Jose win the Europa League, but the performances were going from bad to worse at some point, so we had to let him go. So it's not only about winning trophies. You might win all the trophies, but
Yes.
we want to see exciting football. Want to see good football playing on the front foot. We saw what City has done. City came into the league. They've won five leagues in 6 years. They've showed us that the level of the Premier League is not really on the level we all as fans are claiming it is. And that's why everything is
But what
going
are the
through.
implications of the question that Manny just asked you? It has implied meaning. See
Yeah,
here, you just brought in an Anthony for £85 million. That's huge
yeah,
money. They've backed the manager. That's
yeah,
£85 million
yeah,
down there for you.
yeah,
You brought in Casemiro from Real Madrid for big
yeah,
money. You understand that, right?
yeah,
You also have a Ronaldo who's taking big time wages down there, right?
yeah, yeah,
You also brought in an Ericsson to show up your midfield and help you carry the team this season. See here,
yeah.
with this team and with how much you've been able to spend right now, is Europa League the standard to which you'll be very happy to get this season? I feel that's the
Anthony,
implication with what Manny's
Anthony,
saying.
Anthony, currently right now we don't have a standard because last season was a very bad season for us. Like I am very young. I've not witnessed such a bad season from United. We lost a lot of games. Like we ended the season with no goals. We scored 56 goals. We considered that I have not witnessed that before. So now this season it's just as if we are starting afresh. We want to build this team afresh, and that's why we brought in Ten Hag to do this
Yeah,
job. So we might get a player for 80 million. That doesn't mean we have to go on and win the league this season. We still have to build the team with these players. Unless we forget, these players are coming in from other leagues. So they also have to blend and understand the league. So it takes a lot. It's not only about spending. We spent 80 million on Maguire, but Maguire is the worst player in our team. So
yeah,
it's not about spending the money. We've made bad decisions with spending. And even I think even Anthony was like overrated for that amount. But the thing with that is we caused it ourselves because we should have gotten him earlier and we got him towards the late transfer window. And at that point, they didn't want to sell. So we're desperate to force the move and bring him in. So
okay,
our decision with transfers have been bad, but I just think we have to build this team back from scratch. We don't have
good.
any level again.
Good, good. If you say so, I will just accept. Who am I? Manny, we're heading into Arsenal, that London Derby, the not London Derby. I know we talked about it, but of course, Ola and Manny, we have to delve into this not London Derby. Manny, can you take us through what you thought about that derby?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
Yeah. No. No. No.
Such a
Here's the
happy
thing:
day.
is yeah, it was happy. I mean, anytime Arsenal beats Tottenham, whether it's at the Emirates or at the Tottenham Stadium or whatever the occasion may be, it's always happy. And I missed the first half because I was sort of sleeping. I was a little bit knackered, and I
Yeah,
couldn't really
I was
join in.
surprised when you said that on the show the last
Yeah,
time. I
but
was like,
yeah,
okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
But
the not
you know,
London Derby. How can you miss it?
in many ways, we that second half was more or less a continuation, sort of a microcosm of the game in total because we dominated them and we certainly had them on the back foot. And this is partly the reason why I've been disappointed with Tottenham, and I don't think they will reach the top four unless Conte evolves as a manager and starts to get his tactics right and does what he can to get the best out of the attacking talent, midfield talent at his disposal. Because all of that talent, albeit without Kulusevski, who was injured, and that was the best he could do. I mean, we were all over them like a bad rash, Tony. And certainly that party goal, that absolute corker, which I can watch again and again and again, that was a reflection of how we dominated. Clearly, giving away that needless penalty to Harry Kane was something
Yeah,
that could have been avoided. But again, we didn't let our heads drop, and we went back into the game. We went into half time feeling good. We came out looking confident.
Yeah.
Again, cynics will point to the fact that our best moments were our second goal, of course, came from what was a catalogue of errors. In fact, when you were on that stream with the Hotspur Hood, there was a furious debate about who was to blame. I will say that although Lloris could possibly have done a little bit better, Christian Romero's defending was diabolical. You cannot forget about the back pass rule, and you cannot even think of trying to tap it back in the direction of your keeper. You've got to try to use your brain to realize, look, there may be some defenders coming at me, but I've got to clear my lines and clear the ball away. And I think you said that. So clear
True.
your lines away and don't put your goalkeeper under any pressure. It's basic knowledge. And then,
It's basic defending 101. Get
absolutely.
it
And then
out of the 18-yard box.
absolutely. And then Jesus was able to, come in, the opportunistic striker that he is. He got the goal. He paid his homages to our GOAT, Thierry Henry. And I think
Exactly.
after the sending off of Emerson Royale, which after VAR clearly was well deserved because of the nature of his studs being up, it was well deserved, and we were a shoe in to win. And Conte ended up switching to a back four with, I think, Romero going into right back, and then everything sort of falling back in. Hopefully, this will be the end of big teams trying to play that formation with three at the back, because it clearly leads to a lot of clumsy play. The midfield at times can get, really stretched and uncomfortable in the center. You've got these wing backs who have the double role of trying to bomb forward, but also being able to track back. I don't know if it can necessarily work. And with Kulusevski being injured, they've got a job to do. Before they play in the Champions League later on this week. I mean, it might be tomorrow. I don't know if it's tomorrow or are they playing tomorrow? I think they are, maybe.
I think
But
they are. Yeah.
yeah, so they have a lot of work to do, and unless Conte can evolve, he's never going to repeat the heroics of last season, where from all the way at the back he pipped Arsenal to the post, and that was when many of us were saying Arteta should never have been given that new
But
deal.
again, Manny, that's how he plays. That's how he's won all his four Scudettos
Yes,
down
that
there
is
in
how he's won
Italy.
his
That's
fourth.
how he won the league with Chelsea and the FA Cup.
Agreed. But having said that, every day is a new day. You are only as good as your current season. You are only as good as your next match. And one of the reasons, Tony, why we were sick of Arsene Wenger and he had to leave is because even after repeated seasons of seeing the likes of Stoke and Wigan and Bolton, blunting the silky, seductive football that we always play, and resulting in us not being able to win as much as we would like, he was still never really willing to evolve. He was still never really willing to make the tactical changes necessary to develop
True.
that strong center. And, you can't continue to live on past glories. Every day is a new day. And I say this
True.
about Conte. I say this about Ten Hag. I'm going to say this as well about the likes of Guardiola or any other top manager around the world, even Ancelotti at Real Madrid. No matter how successful you might have been in the past, you are only as good as your current game. And that is why Tottenham won't be contenders this season unless they can show that they can evolve. As for Arsenal, look, they are looking terrific. We had what was probably our first choice 11 on the park that day. Zinchenko ahead of Czerny is a masterstroke, provides some good attacking impetus, contributes to the pressing game. Take him off, bring on Czerny, he can tidy everything up, and everything's rosy in the garden. But let's not forget, my dear friend, we are only one or two injuries away from having the apple cart being upset. This Europa League game will be a test of our squad depth and our bench, and we have to rise to the occasion. And that game against PSV coming up later on, it will not be easy. And he will need to bring in at least one or two players in the transfer window to improve the depth in certain positions which need improvement. Otherwise, it will all be for nothing. We are looking good, and I do think that the momentum is on our side, and we do have a chance of finishing in the top four. I will concede that. We are not contenders for the league title yet. But I'm willing to give us a little bit more respect and say, things are looking good.
I have a
Arteta's doing
problem with
everything he
that.
has to do.
I really do think we're contenders. I'm sorry, man.
No, Arteta's doing everything he has to do right, but he will face more tests. And remember, only 8 games played, not even barely 20%, not even a quarter way through. So we still have a long way to go. Let's fasten our seatbelts and just enjoy the ride for what it is. And if it gets far too bumpy, you know what'll happen.
Yeah. I get the message, Manny. Like, Real good. Ola, see, when you were here last week, you talked about Arsenal having a draw in this game we just played recently with Tottenham. That was your prediction for that game. You said it was going to be hard fought. You said it was going to be difficult, and you later proclaimed it was going to be a draw. To our surprise, not to me, but to other people, and of course people like you that that believe or have this feeling that Arsenal are still pretenders for now. Uh, we went into that not London derby comfortable. Yeah, we had a little bit of a shaky period after we scored. We took it a little bit calm and brought Tottenham into that game. But in the second half, we just closed it off. What would you say about that not London derby in terms of Arsenal's performance and Mikel Arteta's tactical awareness and approach to that match?
Yeah, yeah. I would say it was a good game, and the record shows that Arsenal will always win at the Emirates. But at the end of the day, I think, like I also said in the preview to this game when I was on the last show that I think Antonio Conte's style it will fade off at some point because you have to come out and play football. You can't always defend and try to get a 1-0 or a 2-1 win, counter attack, and the rest. You always have to come out and play. And they went for their normal style of play, which is the defend and counter attacking. But Arsenal
Yeah,
were too strong for them. Every Arsenal player deserve kudos for that game. They were on it. They played really well. The penalty, Arsenal were just unlucky for them to get that penalty. Because apart from the penalty, they created nothing. Uh, Arsenal scored like Partey's goal was world class.
yeah,
Jesus he scored. So it just shows that this Arsenal, fine. We as rival fans might not want to agree that Arsenal are winning the league, but it shows the improvement and it shows that Arsenal are beginning to be consistent and going on they've gone a very good run. They've won 7 out of 8 games, which is fantastic for any team. But I just think the doubt we all have with Arsenal is we've seen them gone on winning 6, 7, 8 games. By the end of the day, they end up bustling it. So we just want to see them
yeah,
being very consistent and just going for it. Like I told Anthony today, if Arsenal and if at the end of October Arsenal are still at the top of the table, then I would take this Arsenal team really really serious because this October is going to be a very crucial month. Like a lot of top games coming. They've won one already against Tottenham, so that is out of the way. But I think Arsenal, they just need to be consistent and just take the game a game at a time, the way they are doing. And I think they might be the shocker of the season, but so far they've been great. Tottenham, I think now they might start to lose a couple of games because the
yeah,
pattern Atnokote is playing is not it's not sustainable. You can't keep playing that way and expect to continue grinding out results. You have
exactly.
to play good football and get the result. So like it was a good win for us now.
See, Ola and Manny. Many of the time, I've really seen the fan base, Arsenal fan base, bring in Mikel Arteta for the chops. I mean, for the real chops, chop him off. Question uh, is his awareness and his tactical approach towards match day programs in terms of the people, the personnel he actually puts out, his first 11 team, his tactical awareness during the matchup. Against that match, that loss we had in Manchester United with Manchester United, when he was actually chasing that game, he brought in about 3 players at the same time. Ola, can you remember that? Those tactical changes he made all of a sudden. People called it panic. People called it, oh, he's a rookie manager. He's not aware tactically. And then yesterday, I think on Saturday, we saw Conte bring in 5 changes all at the same time. And everyone, I don't want to say people praise him or whatever, but see, yeah, that's why I talk about hypocrisy, uh, you know, i- in this fair, you know. a manager who has won 4 Scudettos, has the all experience, has won with Chelsea, a serial winner. Yeah, he grinds out result. That's how he plays his game. He brings 5 players in, and everyone sees it as normal. Oh, it's very normal. It's an experienced coach. He knows what he's doing. But when Arteta did it, it's like always a rookie manager. He's not aware of his tactics. He totally doesn't understand what he's doing. I understand. That's why my show is here to give an air to everyone, no matter what your opinion is. Just come talk, but it should be constructively. That's the phrase I always like putting down there. Manny, this question will go to both you and to Ola.
Yeah.
Do you think that on Saturday that Mikel Arteta showed tactical awareness, tactical prowess, and tactical skills, or do you just think that Conte was didn't get his tactics right, one, or that Tottenham Hotspurs were just woeful on the day?
I say the second one because look, let me give Arteta some credit. So far this season, he's done what he's needed to do in terms of being able to maintain the same game plan, and obviously the players sort of have believed in him, and they've also not let their heads slip. So um, we can't really just go overboard and say that he's turned into a tactical genius. And let's not forget, as Arsenal fans, we do remember some moments where his own tactical naivety was to the fore. Let's not forget that false 9 against his predecessor Unai Emery at Villarreal, which cost us in many ways our chance of winning the Europa League that year. Villarreal, of course, went on to win the Europa League and qualify for the Champions League, and that really, they also beat Manchester United in the final. I'm sorry, but I had to bring that up, Ola. And that was a case of what should have been for us. And Arteta's done the simple things right so far. Going to your question on how he brought on 3 substitutes and showed some tactical naivety, I think in the bigger picture, that game, I would definitely go so far to say, was a tactical masterclass from Erik ten Hag, in that he allowed Arsenal to continue their pressing and sort of suck them into their pressing, but also with Eriksen playing as well as he did and the defense holding firm, they were able to catch us on the counter-attack and were a lot more clinical. And, those 2 goals from Marcus Rashford were examples of how we were just caught out and we were forced to pay. And I think at the time he made those 3 substitutions, if I'm not wrong, the game was 2-1 in favor of United, still in the balance. So he tried to do whatever he possibly could. And I think in many ways, it could have been perhaps a little bit of naivety. He should have tried to, tell the boys to, stop pressing so much, get solidified, and then look for opportunities later on. So that was a little bit of naivety on this point. I think it is fair to say that when Conte brought on those 4 subs, it was 3-1 in our favor. And so they were down to 10 men, so the game was already lost in many ways.
Yeah.
So that was sort of a Hail Mary attempt to try to salvage something from the game. And it was basically an example of Conte doing everything wrong at the beginning. Not getting the formation right, not getting the selection right, in my opinion. I mean, maybe he was forced into making that selection because of Kulusevski's injury. But hopefully, if I never see if I never see Emerson Royale play for Tottenham in the near future, it will be too soon. And I say this as an Arsenal fan, mind you. So Conte basically mucked up his chances in that derby, and he was just completely outschooled. I wouldn't say outschooled, but he fluffed his lines badly. And it was a case of him completely getting everything wrong. Arteta still has a lot to learn. He still has to make sure that he doesn't try to be too clever. He does the simple things right. And he was, of course, lucky, mind you, that he had Partey, Zinchenko, and Tierney fit. And I think I raised this question on another stream because we still didn't know as fans whether those 3 would be fit. And if we had a situation where neither Zinchenko nor Tierney would be fit, and bear in mind, they didn't play in that Nations League clash in Krakow, which decided the fate of their Nations League group. Congratulations to Scotland, by the way. But if neither of them would have been fit, who would we have played at left back? So you see the situation that we are in. We need proper squad depth. We need everything
Yeah.
to work. And when everything works well, when everything does as well, when everything is going smoothly, Arteta doesn't have to do very much. As long as he has his best first 11 and a better squad, he's doing whatever he needs to do. The players are buying into his system. Everything is rosy. It's when he will face tests like he did against Ten Hag. When he will face tests to his system, that is when he will be tested as a manager. That is when he will have to really dig deep and see, you know what, I have to do something a little bit different. But don't try too hard. Don't try to be too clever. Trust
Yeah.
yourself in many ways, and only make some drastic changes if and when the need arises.
Ola, I will come to you with that question also, but I need to just big up people who came at the charts.
Yeah.
You're not Spotty Mikel Arteta. That name is too long, but you're a big supporter of mine. Manny, I know you know him. You're not Spotty Mikel Arteta. I know he's always Arteta out. But I respect him still because he's a valid member of my channel. And he always comes here to support me, even when every other person is out. Unot is always here, with me. Thank you very much for showing up today. Amy Baba, thank you very much. I saw you in the chat. Craig AFC, thank you for coming today. Bagav, my friend Bagav. My, my friend Bagav. I know many people know him in many streams because he loves football. He genuinely loves football, and he genuinely loves sports. And of course, he was a victim, with this hurricane that happened in the United States. My heart goes out to you, Bagav, always. And this channel is praying for you. Because you're also a very, very valid member of this channel, and you've also supported me, everywhere that I've been. Thank you, Bagav, and God bless you, and God bless your family, and help you at this difficult time get back to normal life. Thank you very much for showing up in the chat. And my big friend, Northside LDN, guys. Northside LDN will be coming on Wednesday. He'll be gracing the show. We have a show together. I go to his show 1 week, and he comes the next week to my show. Northside LDN, I will see you when you come here on Wednesday. That's after I talk to Gracie May, because Gracie May will be, gracing the Ryan and Claude show tomorrow. So big things coming up. Big ups to you, Northside. I can't wait to see you on the show on Wednesday. Bagav again, Craig AFC, thank you very much. Neil Kane, big ups to you. Big ups to everyone around here. And Anthony Herbert is in the charts today, this evening. Big ups, Tony, and the panel. He says, thank you very much, Anthony Herbert. He's our very big friend from Gooners from all corners. I can't wait to be on that show again, Anthony Herbert, my big friend. I'll big you up anywhere you go, Anthony Herbert. Back to you, Ola. That game yesterday, on Saturday, was it an Arteta masterclass and tactical awareness and tactical genius, or was it a woeful preparation or woeful tactics by Antonio Conte?
I think with Conte, you know the style of play. You know the way he always plays. When he was at Chelsea, he used to play the same way. Even at Inter, the same. Now at Spurs, the same. So any manager coming to play against him already knows what to expect from him. Defend, like, more of a defensive pattern and counter attack. So
yeah,
the Arsenal players already know what to expect. But he, as the coach, he should be able to switch things up. But he can't. At the point he was making those substitutions, he was trying to defend because of the red card. He knows if he doesn't bring on players to defend this game, that was why he brought on more of defenders at that period. Just come and see the game through. Unless if he doesn't bring in those players, he would have considered close to 5 goals. So he was trying to reduce the damage Arsenal could make on them, because I feel everyone already knows Conte's tactics, and that's where the problem is. As a manager, you shouldn't be predictable. You should have games that you can change your style of play or change your pattern. Assuming he had made a change, it would have been like a shocker to the Arsenal players before they could adjust. They might have gotten a couple of goals. But Conte is very adamant. He goes with that style of play, whether you like it or
Yeah,
not. And that was what cost them the game totally. Because you can't always come with the same pattern even against Fulham, even against the smaller teams. They've not really played any game that they've dominated this season. They've always been defend and on the break, which is not sustainable. You can't keep doing that through the course of the season. At some point, you start to lose games, and they lost to Sporting. Now they've lost to Arsenal. Hopefully, it's an eye opener because he has players in that team that can really play. He has
that
players
can
like
really play.
Kane,
Yeah, I
Son. He has
totally agree
Bissouma.
with you.
He
He
has
has a
he has
spent. It
Kulusevski. He has
completely
yes. He
shows the
has
disregard for
yes.
Bissouma.
Yes, and this style of play is reducing the level of these players. It's not giving the players the opportunity to showcase what they can do, and that is bad for the players also. He needs to open his mind up and make sure these players have let them show what they can do. But right now they are just playing Conte's style of play, which is defend
Conte's
and
style
counter
of
attack,
play.
which I think is not sustainable for any manager.
Yeah, I'll just give my little take before we go into that Liverpool game, which will be our last one. See, yeah, of course, I really understand the complete lack of regard and complete lack of respect. Tottenham Hotspur, came with into that game. Of course, this is a team that hasn't lost a match in the Premiership. Their only loss has come from Sporting Lisbon, and that's in the Champions League. So it was expected that he will come. He would kind of like a little bit disrespect the achievements of Mikel Arteta this season by being on top of that league for now. For me, I really felt that he should have sacrificed one of the front three in Richarlison, Son, and Kane, and brought in maybe a Bissouma, because this manager, mostly Antonio Conte, he has a complete disregard for the skill set and what Bissouma brings into that team. Of course, we know who Bissouma is. We wanted him at Arsenal. I wanted Bissouma at Arsenal. I don't know about you, Manny. Did you want Bissouma at Arsenal?
Oh yes, I did. I mean, anything to strengthen the midfield and at least
The
provide some cover
midfield
for Thomas Partey would have been more than welcome. And once again, we dilly dallied, and Tottenham sort of snapped him up from under their
snapped him
noses.
off on our
Yeah,
noses.
exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
you
That
know,
that that
we say
criticism
back in
should go to Edu. Actually, Edu is
yeah we
Edu is the cause of that.
yeah, but we say in London, shy boys don't get sweets. If you if you do not assert yourself, you won't get anything. It's as simple as that.
Yeah, yeah, that's true. So I really feel like this manager doesn't really completely trust Bissouma. Even if Bissouma, yeah, he's coming from Brighton, but even at Brighton, they've turned out with lots of good results last season and this season. They've taken points from part of the top six last season, and even this season they've taken points away from Manchester United, and even nearly beat up Liverpool by having a draw, of which that's our next talking point in the next topic for this show. So I don't see why he didn't want to bring in a Bissouma to make that midfield a five-man midfield and make it more steely, so it will be very, very intricate before Arsenal can be able to turn out this their very, very fast pace kind of distribution network, and mostly their transition from defense towards that midfield as they also move up offensively. And you could see Thomas Partey had a field day in that midfield. The 1-2 touches, the 1-2 passes. If they had a more brick wallish kind of a steely kind of midfield parked in there, it would have been very difficult for Arsenal to string those passes cohesively and effectively get those goals. So I don't know. I just felt that he paid us a complete lack of respect. Paid the stadium in which they've never won since 2010, I think. Am I correct, Manny?
Yeah, yes,
Spurs
you are
haven't won
correct.
in that stadium since
You,
2010.
no, you are correct. They haven't won, and of course, that season, if you remember, a certain William Gallas was Tottenham captain that day, and
Exactly.
that really
Disgraceful.
made the team. It made it even more sting, and that's why for me,
Yeah.
Gallas will always be hated. I can never forgive him for that strop he threw,
He's a
which,
snake.
yeah,
I call him a snake. But
yeah,
anyway, it's okay. We've moved past William Gallas. I
yeah.
think he's somewhere enjoying his pina coladas, somewhere in Spain or somewhere in the heart of France. But anyway, that's just it. So I think that's where they kind of like lost the game for me. It was in that midfield play, and again, this rookie mistake again. You come into play Arsenal that play possession football, and then you come in to just sit back, soak up pressure, and take us on the counter attack. It's wrong. It's poor tactics. You have to come at Arsenal. You have to come at Arsenal because you know that Arsenal, if they, once they're with that ball, they're a position team. They will bite you when you leave the ball to them. They have all these kind of tricky players that use the ball in very intricate spaces, and it shows yesterday. And that's why people like Zaka is now having a new lease of life. In that team, and we could even see that Ben White was actually even running the channels and even overlapping Saka. If you see the technicalities into that game, he was in the act also. It was from his pass. It was okay. It was from a pass from Saka to Ben White, and from Ben White, he just nicked it. Just guided that ball just 25 yards away from the post for Thomas Partey to just slot in that ball. We've not even talked about that goal. What a goal from Thomas Partey! Simply amazing. For a player who has been injured, carrying an injury and been playing for Arsenal, and to come in, have that kind of impact and score a goal that Saturday, it's simply amazing. Ola, I'll just ask you this question right now. Where do you see Arsenal ending up this season? I want you to be very objective. Don't say this out of jealousy, because I know that Manchester United, were beaten and completely disgraced at the Etihad, yesterday. I'm sorry about that. It's not Arsenal's fault
No,
that you
yeah, I
guys
know.
didn't get in lots of players to play the way that Ten Hag wants to play. I'm very sorry about that. But please, objectively, tell me, where would Arsenal end up at the end of the season with the way we're playing right now?
I think with the way you guys are playing right now, if you guys keep it up, I'll go for third because Chelsea. Yeah, I feel Chelsea are going through a rebuild also with Graham Potter because he's coming with a new style of play to what Chelsea has. Oh, they've always had. Liverpool, they've not been really convincing, and everyone are saying they will come back, but now the league is getting tough. Every game that comes is very tough. Look at Brighton. Brighton got a 3-3 draw against Liverpool, so it shows you that you to come back and get those one of games, you have to be on top of your game. And
Yeah,
Liverpool, they've not done that so far. So I think Arsenal would get third and maybe do the shocker and maybe get the league. But based on what we know of Arsenal, because they always bottle it at some point, so I will go for third. I'll go for top four definitely and third for me.
third. Manny,
Hmm.
is that a clear disrespect, or do you think Ola got that right?
No, I mean, like I predicted fourth, and the reason why, I mean, obviously he considers the other teams teething problems, but I'm pretty certain that when it comes to someone like a Graham Potter, for instance, he will certainly soon get the team playing well. And just taking a look at the table, Chelsea do have a game in hand, and they're on 13 points. If they win their game in hand, they'll be 5 points behind Arsenal. Again, as I've said, there's many a slip between the cup and the lip, and it's
Yeah.
also a marathon, never a sprint. Mo Farah has always won his long distance races by starting off close to the back of the pack, bringing himself up, getting some momentum, coming through the middle, and then that huge
Yeah.
kick at the very end, gold medal. So that's the
Great.
approach that we have to take. And let's not forget, Mo's an Arsenal fan. Big up, sir.
Ola of the United family.
Yeah.
See, I want to talk about Liverpool and Chelsea briefly, and make it kind of like squeeze it into this remaining
Yeah.
minutes we have on this show. Ola, Liverpool. What is happening to Liverpool? 3-3 draw with with Brighton. I'm not taking lightly what Brighton poses as a team. But it's Brighton at the end of the day
Yeah.
against Liverpool. This was a chance for them to bounce back from the up and downs they've been having. Uh, I even heard someone say that if they beat Brighton on Saturday, that they can still win the league. And of course Arsenal can't win the league, but but them, that were eighth position can win the league after beating Brighton. Ola, take us through a tour of what you thought about that. And that same question will go to Manny.
I think with Liverpool, they've been bad throughout this season. I don't know what has gone wrong, but I think like it's a lot. See, Liverpool and City, they were on the same. We were rating them on the same level, but this season we've not seen that level of performances from Liverpool. And the Brighton game, Brighton is a very good team. They got 2 goals first. It was 2-0. Then Liverpool came back. I think that's a positive that Liverpool fans can take from the game because they came back and they got 3-2 before they ended up conceding the last goal that made that game a draw. So I
Yeah,
just think the performances level need to improve. I know
yeah,
some people say Sadio Mane left, but Sadio Mane leaving cannot cause this much problem. I feel defensively they've been bad this season. Alexander Arnold has been shocking. Robertson, they've not been on the level we've always seen them to be. And with Robertson, you have a backup in Shimikash, but when it comes to Alexander Arnold, you don't really have a very good backup that can take over that position. And that's why I think City are kind of ahead of all of us because their bench is very good. They can bring on any player from the bench and they will still get that level of performance that the starting player has. And
yeah.
that's what every team need to be done. And that's another issue people have with Arsenal because they have a very good starting lineup, but the bench is not really on the same level.
On the
So they
same
need
level.
every team need that squad depth. And I think Liverpool, the performances should get better, but I'm not sure if that is guaranteed because the games are coming thick and fast. The next game, it seems, is Arsenal Liverpool. The next game is going to be a very good game. Arsenal should be able to beat the Liverpool side because they've been shocking. But I just think it has to get better from them, or else they will find themselves in a very bad situation in the next couple of games. Just as simple. But with Chelsea, a very good win. Crystal Palace is not an easy
Yeah,
side to win. We saw
yeah,
we saw the game against Arsenal. We saw how good they played, even though they lost. Arsenal got the 2 goals and it was fantastic. But they got the first. Crystal Palace got the first goal, but I think they took their foot off the pedal and Chelsea came back. But Chelsea goals were 2 fantastic goals. A very good goal from Aubameyang, from Arsenal man. Got a very good goal. A very instinctive finish. He didn't even think about it. He knew what he wanted to do,
I
and he
wanted
did
to
it.
do.
And the second goal from Gallagher was fantastic. A fantastic goal from outside the box. So it's just I feel Graham Potter he still has a lot to do because he's a very good ball playing coach. We've seen that with Brighton and Chelsea. They've not really been used to that system, and beginning a lot of coaches they've had issues, but with Graham Potter they have to give him the time and let him build this team. And I think Chelsea, United, Liverpool, Arsenal, you can see with all of them, they have good coaches. They have coaches that want to dominate, coaches that want to play
Yeah,
with the ball, not just coaches that are after counter attack or just scoring goals. So, and that's an improvement because we need to get to that level of City. City has taken the bar to another level, which all of us need to start playing good football so we can match up with the level of City. But it was just 2 good games. Liverpool has to improve. Chelsea, they have to build up on from that performance. They need to get a win in the Champions League because they started badly in the Champions League. So they need to get a win in the Champions League this week. And hopefully
yeah.
just it gets better for everyone.
Okay. That question will also go to Manny, but just before then, there are questions here. Oyabun San says this. Ola and Manny, please just answer this question. FSG, Cronke, Glazers, or Todd B? Which one will be your choice?
I don't think
Good
I
question.
don't think I would take any of them.
Neither would I.
FSG,
Neither would I.
Ola hates
FSG.
Glazers. He
No,
doesn't
I
like
don't.
the
No,
Glazers.
no. See, and to see, Todd Bowley is basically an upcoming Glazers because his decisions so far, even in this Shasari, he has made some bad decisions. Fine. He's trying to get in the director of football and all, but I think he's
Ola.
just an upgraded Glazer.
Ola, wait. I have a problem when we slag these guys off. I come from an era supporting Arsenal where the owners didn't even want to even bring a nickel out, to
Yeah.
support the team. They were very frugal Usmanov then was very frugal, extremely frugal. You know, the board, Arsene Wenger, all of them were all in. They were all in that act to stifle money for transfers. But I want to go away from that. Now you come to Todd B. Todd B is supporting his team. He's supporting that
No,
manager. He
it's
supported
not about
Tuchel.
supporting.
He brought in
Yes,
Aubameyang. He brought
but he
in
sacked
a
him.
Lukaku. Okay, not
But he
Lukaku.
sacked
Sorry,
him.
he brought in this guy, Cucurella.
But he sacked the manager.
He's brought in a
Why?
Koulibaly.
Why will you bring
Of
those
course,
those
of
players
course,
and sack the manager?
it's his club. It's his club.
And no,
He
and
owns it. If he
and
decides to bring new
and
management,
Anthony,
it lies in his feet. On his feet,
and
sorry.
Anthony, my point with Todd B is he's backing his team fine, but the problem I'm having with it is look at how much he signed Cucurella. He signed Cucurella for 67 million. That's a huge amount of money. That's the highest fee for a fullback in the Premier League. He brought in Koulibaly for 40 plus million. Like I know he's trying to back the manager, but this is the same mistake United made. They went to get players with huge amount of money, huge amount of wages, and at the end of the day, if those players end up not performing, you have issues selling them. And that's
The Glazers have spent nothing less than £1 billion. They spent nothing less than £1 billion in furnishing players for different
it's not
managers.
about spending money. It's not about spending money.
Money.
It's not about spending money. That's the mistake people make. You have to spend the money the right way. Look at us now. Before they started spending money, they brought in Edu in the director of football. They had the plan and they went through that plan. And that's why since then they've gotten Odegaard, they got in Jesus, they got in Zinchenko, got in players that they know fit the style of play of what the coaches want. What the Glazers were doing was just looking for big names where they can get money from, where they can feed on selling of shirts and just making money off the club.
Right?
And yes, and so that's the difference. And that's the fear I'm having with Chelsea. Is James this contract now? James is on close to 250k. What if it goes bad? It's on a 6-year contract. What if it goes bad? No club will want to give him that amount of salary. And that's why we have issues with moving on players. We still have a lot. Phil Jones is still at United. Phil Jones is still at Manchester United. And he has not played for over 2 or 3 years because no one can pay that amount of wages we are paying him in any other club. So you need to be careful with your transfer decisions. That's what I'm trying to say. You can spend money, but spend it on the right players and the players that fit your philosophy and the style of play you want to go for.
Good, Ola. Oyebusan, thanks for bringing this question because when I see fans criticize owners, modern owners, sometimes I have my reservations. It doesn't just only fall on their feet. Also, it's an all-encompassing kind of blame. But Manny, I want to hear your take on this. FSB have spent money on that Liverpool team. They brought in Van Dijk for big money. They brought in this play Mane, Salah, and of course they won the Champions League, and he brought them their first Premiership title in 30 years. I just want to highlight that in 30 years. Kroenke, of course, Arsenal have not gotten anything for the best part of 18 years. Of course, FA Cups from Arsene Wenger. That's not enough. But yet, Kroenke have backed this manager. They've put out funds for him. Glazers have spent nothing less than £1 billion. Like, I don't know if Manchester United fans think that this cash is just something you pick from the trees, or it's something from dreams come true. But this is £1 billion. It's not small money. Todd B has come in and thrown money everywhere at Koulibaly, at Cucurella, as Ola rightfully said. Cucurella is the expensive right back, the most expensive right back ever in EPL history. Manny, what's your take on this?
Yeah,
Anthony. Sorry, Manny. Anthony, I might have to up out and maybe come back in. Most likely before you guys round up the show, I have to.
Yeah. We'll be rounding up in like 3-4 minutes.
Okay. Yeah, let Manny go so we can.
Okay, yeah, Manny,
go on.
Yeah, so here's the thing. Todd Boehly also wanted Ronaldo at Chelsea, but I think Tuchel wasn't interested, and I think that might have been part of the reason why Tuchel got sacked because he didn't see eye to eye with the owner. Stupid decision, but we'll see if it pays off. But look, it all depends upon the returns, and I think also you've mentioned how FSG have invested and seen their investments bear fruit. I think from looking from the outside, these owners do seem to have a lot more of a better relationship with the manager, and maybe are willing to invest a bit more in the club and try and make sure that things are working fairly well. And they've done everything they possibly could. I mean, Kroenke has currently backed Arteta, but we all know that he was never willing to whip out his checkbook for the best part of quite some time now. And of course, don't get me started on the Glazers. Yes, they've put in the money, but you want to see your owners, Tony, display a lot more of an involvement in the club. And the reason why I can never get behind Kroenke is that he never had the ambition when he bought his share in Arsenal to see them become necessarily a really successful club. He himself said it. He didn't buy Arsenal to see the club win trophies. And it's just sacrilegious, really, that these American owners, for the most part, are only too happy to consider the English clubs they have as side interests, with their main interest being their American sports teams. The Glazers, of course, own my Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I was living in Tampa for 6 years. I missed the Super Bowl win 2 seasons ago because I was out of the country then. But, I mean, that's the thing. They care about their own sports teams. So you want to see owners being willing not just to invest money, but also invest a bit more time. And that's what FSG have done. So I might have been a bit harsh when I said I wouldn't really want any of them. I think FSG would be the best of that bunch. But the other three, quite frankly, do not strike me as really being appealing as of yet. Bowley's just come in now. So we don't know how he's going to operate, but he's already earned a black mark from me for the way he's dealt with Tuchel. So no, I'm not happy with him at all. And I want to give some very quick thoughts on Liverpool. They are still capable of scoring goals. Their midfield is still quite decent and performing well, but defensively they are a shambles. Klopp has some big decisions to make. I think I've said it. Virgil van Dijk has started to look like Dick Van Dyke, really, in Mary Poppins. If you've seen that film, the way he'd be dancing, his legs in the legs flailing about. And Trent Alexander-Arnold still does have the ability to be a decent defender, but he is being picked apart very easily. So I believe if they can sort out their defensive problems, they will be fine. And I will sit. I think the current front three with Salah, Diaz, and whoever it may be, they will gel together. It'll be a matter of time. And with Chelsea, with Potter coming in, he will build a system around his team. Aubameyang seems to have responded well to him. We were worried about him, whether he would throw his toys out of the pram with Tuchel having gone, but it hasn't been the case. He's responded well, and he's taken his chances. I'm sure Potter will know how to manage him well, give him rest whenever he needs rest, and that's the way it'll work. So I'm confident that things will be looking up. But so there's still a long way to go, and I think a few teams will make a recovery. Remember, it's a marathon, not a sprint. You get your bearings right, gain momentum, and then power through at the end. Remember Mo Farah.
Thank you very, very much, everyone. Of course, Ola, you have to thank Manny. Of course, this is my show with you. So
big up Manny. Big up Manny. Thanks for coming on.
Manny, I've saved my ass many times already. Twice in about 3 days or so. So thank you very much.
I already have my channel, Manny, and I would love you to be on at some point. I just started
Manny, they want you everywhere.
Channel.
They want you everywhere.
To be on at some point, so we can just.
Listen. Let me start by subscribing to your channel. All right, brother. I will look you up. The United Family.
The United Fanmily.
Oh, so it's a combination of fan and family.
Yeah.
A family of fans. Very good.
Something like that. Yeah. So thank you everyone for joining us today. My special guest, Manny, he came up here last weekend, and I want to consistently bring him to the show. I want to bring him into the fold. So you guys will be seeing Manny more often here. Is more level-headed and it pedals in decorum, and I like its kind of analysis. So Manny, we really need you here And of course, Ola would definitely talk to you because he has his own his show is
Yeah.
up and running. So he would like you to come help him out
Yeah,
too.
I'm just trying to look for your channel right now. I've typed it in correctly, the Unitedfanmily, and I still can't seem to
It's kind of.
find it.
Ola just
I will send you the
link him
link.
up,
Yeah.
and you guys
Yeah.
can do that
I'll put the link in our chat on StreamYard
in
chat.
our chat. So yeah,
Yeah.
of
Brilliant.
course,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
Yeah.
I'll put the link in the description of this video. So guys, please subscribe to my channel. A lot of great contents coming soon.
yeah.
I look forward to it,
And
definitely.
yes, and apart from that, ladies and gentlemen, of course, this is a new channel, but we want to do big things and bring big people into this show. I will be bringing in one of my esteemed guests tomorrow. This lady, she knows her Arsenal. This lady is one Arsenal fan that I always did watch before coming into sports punditry, and it's Gracie May. The Arsenal fan called Gracie May. I'll give you all the old details about her tomorrow, and she'll be here tomorrow on Tuesday, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. So she'll be gracing the show. Gracie May, I will be bringing her, and this will be big. Me and Ryan Maguire, my business partner, will be, having a 1-2 with her tomorrow, and picking her brain and see what her thoughts would be about Arsenal, Tottenham this season, Liverpool, Manchester United. So it's going to be a big one. And on Wednesday, it's a big one here on this channel. Ola Mani, I would like you guys to be, around for that one. It would be me and Northside LDN
Oh
on
yeah,
Wednesday.
I cannot miss
Yeah,
that. No chance. I'm going to miss that.
yeah,
I'm going to miss. I'm not
definitely.
going
I
to miss
had the
that.
first part on his show, and he's coming to my show, to cause a little bit of a stir the pot, and stir the fans against me. So definitely, I'll be having a showdown with him. He's a brother,
Uh,
and it's just
well,
what
it's
we
good.
do.
It's good. It's good because then you can have me coming in and playing mediator. Yeah, I'll be happy to
Exactly.
do that.
Because he'll be coming to stir the pot like he always does. My big brother, Northside LDN, will be here on Wednesday. So thank you, everyone, and follow us with Gracie May tomorrow as she comes here 8 p.m. Please go. Manny, do you have any channel?
Sadly, no, I'm afraid. For the moment, you can catch me on Twitter having a few spirited debates with some Arteta in fans. The handle is Thangadurai 1981. That's my surname and my year of birth. I know you follow me on Instagram, Tony. It's Manny
Yeah,
Thangadurai 1981.
yeah,
That's my full name and my year of birth. That way we can keep in touch, and you can update me on any upcoming videos, any streams you're doing. And listen, I am thinking of starting a new channel very, very soon. I just want to make sure that
good.
I get the bearings right. I don't know exactly what it will be entailing. I definitely don't want it to be something repetitive. I want it to be something a little bit different. So you
Yeah,
and other will be among the first to know for sure. But in the
definitely.
meantime,
Mhm.
I am welcome. I'm always happy to come on different streams and offer my opinions, say what I want to say, let the chips fall where they may. Shout out to these channels: Del Boy Gunner TV, my first foray into this video podcast thing.
Yeah,
Irish Arsenal fan. I know that you're in touch with him. Wonderful person, always has some terrific content. His call-in shows are epic. We pretty much go at it, and it's great
yeah,
fun, good times, a good crack with the boys, and that's the crack, that's the bleeding story, as he would say.
yeah,
Also, S. Featley TV, a channel devoted to raising money for the Children's Liver Disease Foundation. Really
yeah,
important cause. Please get into that. Some
yeah,
other channels: Oris Talks Football, Hanno Trollope's Coaches Corner. I do some watch-alongs and some streams with him.
yeah,
Wonderful young chap from South Africa. Really good guy. Good content as well. King's Football Show with another African gentleman, King Said from the Gambia, with Senegalese blood as well. Really,
yeah.
also an Arsenal fan. You need to make sure that he comes on as well and have a chat with him.
Definitely. You can link me up with those guys too.
Definitely. I will get you through to them.
Yeah.
Of course, NS Sports TV. You can catch me on the Football for Thought podcast, normally on a Sunday, but whenever he is free, he does it. And now I also want to big you up as well, because I want to thank you for
Oh,
bringing
thank
me
you.
on this today and last week. And I definitely would love to make sure that I am here more often and more frequently.
Please,
And
I
the
need you
thing,
here,
the,
man.
yeah, the thing with me is that from now on, just you give me a call, I come running. The only problem is, I will probably. I don't see myself doing anything else on a Wednesday, so Wednesday will be perfect. So I am
Oh,
looking.
we could create a
I
show
am
together.
I am looking forward to hopping
Oh,
on and making some more magic. But until then, thanks very much indeed for having me. It was a pleasure being here. Pleasure to meet you as well,
yeah,
Ola. I've just subscribed, and may these
yeah. Thank
discussions
you.
continue. May these discussions continue, and that's all. That's all. I'll get tongue tied at the worst of times, but my mind just sort of skipped a bit further. But
Yeah,
thank you all once
Exactly.
again. Be at
thank you.
peace. Take care of yourselves. Be happy. Also, one
Yeah,
more final word. Let's also remember the lives that were lost in the Indonesia riots.
yes,
We need to
Indonesia.
Yeah,
remember.
Yeah,
We need to
yeah,
remember that we are united by our common love of football.
yeah,
Anything
yeah,
that happens over there, it affects us. We have memories of the Hillsborough disaster in
yeah,
1989.
uh,
No fan should ever go to a football match hoping to enjoy themselves, only to lose their lives later on. Prayers for
yeah.
the dead. I
uh,
hope they'll be at peace with the
uh,
Almighty. Prayers for the
Yeah.
bereft families. I hope you will all find comfort, peace, and strength
yeah,
to deal with this. So, peace to everyone, and
Yeah.
I'm out.
Peace.
Peace to everyone. Thank you very much, everyone.
Peace.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.